What's your emergency? The call begins with almost nothing, just wind, a faint splash, and the hollow metal sound of a small fishing boat in the dark. Then a man's voice enters, shaky and breathless. I'm on a boat. Something just hit me from below. It's 2:17 a.m. The dispatcher sits up straighter. No one calls from open water at this hour unless something is very wrong. Sir, are you injured? No, but I don't think I'm alone out here. Welcome to Shadow Case Files. Tonight, you'll hear the final call from a man who vanished at sea. His boat was found, his phone was found, but he wasn't. For privacy, we'll call him Mark. Mark took his small fishing boat out just after midnight. Calm weather, clear skies, no warnings. But what happened to him wasn't something any radar could detect. Sir, what's your location? The dispatcher asks. That's the problem. My GPS froze. It says I haven't moved in 30 minutes, but I've been drifting. A low rumble echoes beneath him. Something is circling his boat. Mark explains that 10 minutes earlier, the entire vessel jolted violently. Not like hitting debris, more like being struck from below. When he leaned over the edge, he saw a shadow sliding under the water, large, bigger than the boat. It's under me right now, he whispers. I can feel it lifting the hull, testing it. Metal scrapes, the boat creaks. Something slow and heavy brushes the underside. The dispatcher tries to keep him calm. Do you see any lights? Any boats nearby? Nothing, just black water and eyes. Mark describes two faint glows beneath the surface, drifting past like a pair of watching orbs before disappearing again. Then a sound enters the recording, low, deep, layered, not a whale, not anything he recognizes. The dispatcher asks, "Is someone with you?" I heard another voice. That wasn't a person, Mark answers, and it wasn't an animal. The noise grows for a few seconds, then fades, circling wider. Suddenly, Mark says, "It touched my leg." He's inside the boat, yet he swears something pressed upward from below the floorboards, as if feeling for weaknesses. The dispatcher gently asks if he might be disoriented. He cuts her off. "I'm not imagining this. I've lived on this water my whole life." More scraping, more slow bumps. The creature is exploring him. Then something disturbing happens. Mark pleads, "Can you send someone, please?" And from under the boat, the tape catches a warped echo of his own voice repeating, "Send someone, please." Slower, deeper, wrong. Mark freezes. "Did you hear that? That wasn't me. It sounded like me but underwater." The creature is mimicking him. The dispatcher tries to escalate the call, but they both know help won't arrive in time. Another impact. The boat lifts sharply. Gear slides. Something enormous rolls beneath him. "It's huge," Mark gasps. "Nothing this big should be this close to the surface." The dispatcher instructs him to sit in the center of the boat, not to lean over the edge, but Mark whispers, "It wants me to. It's waiting." The ocean grows unnaturally quiet. No wind, no waves, just a low hum vibrating through the hull. Static bursts. The call glitches for a moment. When it clears, Mark sounds farther away, like he's drifting from the phone. "I see it," he whispers. "It's right under me. So many teeth. But it's not attacking. Just open." The dispatcher begs him to stay still. "I'm not jumping," he says softly. "It's coming up." Water explodes. Something massive slams the boat. Mark screams. Another scream echoes back from below in a warped version of his own voice. Two screams layered, one human, one not. Then silence. The dispatcher calls his name. No answer, only faint bubbling, like trapped air rising. Then a final sound. A calm voice right against the microphone. Mark's voice. But it isn't Mark speaking. It says, found you, and the line goes dead. When rescuers arrive hours later, they find his boat drifting, heavily scraped along one side. No bite marks, no signs of impact, just long, deep abrasions like something enormous pressed against it. The life jacket is still on board, the radio untouched, the flares unused. Only Mark is missing. The official report says presumed drowning. But if you listen to the call, if you hear the second voice echoing beneath his own, you might wonder, what else is listening beneath the surface? What else can mimic us? And how many voices echo in the deep, waiting to be heard again? This was the case file of the Deep Water Call. If you're ever alone